man who does so much. It's utterly amazing that you can remember everything like that. Bumbity bum. I've been reading your bio, and that's why I'm nervous. I mean, this man, he does it all. Children's books. He's a producer, a director, a writer. What haven't you done? A father, a husband.
There are a few things left to conquer, but
Yes.
I diversify.
We're about the same age, so there are a few things for us to do, right?
I diversify, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
So what do you consider yourself number one?
Trying to work. Number one, I'm trying to stay alive. Number one, I'm trying to be busy, trying to make money, trying to do good things, and I'm very happy doing new things.
Yes.
I've never consciously gone like, oh, what new thing will I do next, obviously. But I do like to keep busy, and I see no reason. It's kind of one big thing, whether you're writing or directing or producing. It's kind of similar. You use the same muscles, but maybe with a little different spin on it, and I do think it helps.
Yeah, I often think of artists as a tube of toothpaste, where you squeeze it and kind of the same thing comes out.
Well, in my case, I try to have it be striped. Remember striped toothpaste?
I certainly do, and mine is polka dot.
I don't want to be the same as toothpaste, please. No, don't make me be
right,
toothpaste.
but delicious.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you up to these days?
Well,
What's your next venture?
Next venture, my most immediate next venture. First of all, I develop a lot of stuff, which I'll mention briefly. But the next thing that I'm actually doing, where you have to go somewhere and have a plane ticket and stuff, I'm going to be acting in a new movie that Wes Anderson, one of my very favorite directors actually, is directing, that I love. I think it's great. With some great people. Bruce Willis is in the movie, and Bill Murray and Frances McDormand, one of my favorite actresses, and some great people are going to do it. And I think it's a terrific thing. I would name it if I could remember its name. I have no idea what it's called.
See?
I don't know.
Gotcha. Finally, we got him
I
with
wasn't
something.
paying attention. I wrote a series of children's books. I had a series about 10 years ago about a funny bionic dog and his boy called McRowell, and we did well. We sold a lot of books, and I had a very good time. So I decided to set up a new book called The Creature from the 7th Grade, and 4 of them will start coming out in about a year. I've just turned in the first one, and they're about a year. We have about a year advance lead.
I love that word, a creature from the 7th grade, because weren't we all creatures then?
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's about a little boy going through puberty, and everybody else in his class is getting hair under their lip and in other places that you can't mention in polite company, and he turns into a 7.5-foot reptile.
Wow.
It's sort of a metaphor
A lot of
for how-
possibilities.
It's really a metaphor for how awkward kids feel at that age. They
Yeah.
always think they're the only one going through it. Only in his case, he actually is the only one going through it.
Yeah.
But he was a wimpy kid. Now he's a wimpy monster.
Okay. I love him already. And what I find fascinating about you and your work has been the range, like your interest in Gosford Park, one of my all-time favorites.
Well, I love that movie.
And, yeah.
Well, Gosford Park was unintentional, you could say. I was sitting around one day feeling particularly desperate, which I do fairly regularly. It is a great motivator, desperation.
Isn't it? That's something for all of us to remember. You heard it from him.
Never try to avoid your desperation.
Right.
Just look it in the eye and try to be more desperate. I was thinking about how much I loved Robert Altman. He was a friend of mine.
Yes.
We had worked together. I did a documentary about him once.
And we had him at Guildhall just before he passed
Yes,
away.
he did a fabulous conversation. Who was it with? I can't remember. With Elvis Mitchell? No, was it?
I'm forgetting, but I know I asked him a question from the audience, and I
it
was
was
very
great.
honored to have even had that one little moment with him. But I interrupted you.
No,
You
no.
go ahead.
And he was dying at that moment, and he was going to be dead in about 2 months.
Yes.
And he was working on 3 movies.
Yes.
He never stopped until the minute he stopped breathing. And you could tell in this last interview of his, I mean, he was just as brilliant, if anything, more erudite, more focused. And he was a great guy.
Yeah.
So I brought him an idea. I had this idea that he should be directing an Agatha Christie murder mystery, which he had never done before. So we worked on it for a bit of time, and then I found an unknown writer named Julian Fellows who had written a script for me, but he wasn't a writer. He was an actor at that point. He wanted to be a writer, and I said, well, I know somebody. He's just hanging around England. He'll write something cheap for us. And he did. Robert loved it. We made the movie. It was terribly easy in many ways, you could say. And then our little unknown writer won the Academy Award, and now he's got a bigger house than my house. Which isn't saying that much. But,
Well, you're in our little old Bridgehampton,
I'm
right?
in beautiful Bridgehampton. I'm very happy to be there.
Isn't it wonderful? And Manhattan as well?
I'm in Manhattan when I need to be, but basically I live in Bridgehampton and I come here for tonight. I came here, and for tomorrow morning I've got something, and then I'll go back the next day.
So it's home out there.
I would say that it was home, yeah.
Yeah.
But I travel a lot anyway, so
Yes.
I would be kind of gone a couple of months of the year anyway.
Right,
If
right.
things weren't doing too badly.
Yes. And I'll let you get to all the festivities tonight, but I wanted to end on the note that I was reading that your roots are in show business, which I found fascinating.
Well, I
How they
did,
go
yeah.
way back with you. So you wanted this probably all your life. This.
I didn't want it exactly, but my family, my really not my grandparents, my uncles. My father was the youngest of 7 brothers. He was 26 years younger than his oldest brother. So they were really like his parents. And when my dad was born, they owned and operated the largest chain of movie theaters in the Midwest, basically. The oldest brother went on to own and operate Paramount Pictures for a number of years, and somebody else split off and went to MGM. So I didn't really grow up in it because it was in Chicago, and my dad was 26 years younger than the rest of them. But he was in radio and television, and he also had a few art houses. So I have to say that from the earliest time I remember, I was always being an actor. I did puppet shows. I stood in the mirror and practiced laughing and crying. You know, I did the things that I'm sort of embarrassed to say, and yet, because I'm an actor, I told you immediately. I never thought I would be anything in particular other than I probably would grow up and try to work in my dad's office. But I started working at a young age and continued working, so it happened. But it's
Fantastic. And you grew up where?
yes, I'm on a television show right now. No. I grew up on the near north side of Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, that's right, Chicago.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I went to college. I went to Colgate University and then NYU, and I just stayed.
And you stayed
I
in
met
this
my
area.
wife in college, yeah.
Great, my friend. Okay. Say hi for
It was
me.
really nice to see you.
Yeah, so nice to meet you. You're such a special person. We can tell that right away.
Well, God willing.
And we're in for a great evening tonight.
Don't expect too much. It's only talking.
We're in for a pretty good night.
Hopefully nothing bad will happen to us tonight. That's the way
Any
I like it.
juggling behind your back?
No juggling ever, ever, ever again. That
Okay.
was it. You can only do it once.
Yeah, great. Well, we are very privileged to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
It's such a great honor to meet you and to get this chance to get to know you a bit.
Well, thank you. It was nice talking
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you. Welcome back. I'd like to introduce to you Louise Hirschfeld Coleman.
How do you do? It's so nice to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. And her husband, who's being honored tonight, Louis Coleman.
Correct. My name is Louis Coleman. And I had a brother, Joe Coleman, who's also, I see his name as up there on the screen.
Yes, we're honoring your brother as well this evening, I believe.
Really? He's being re-honored? Or how did he do that?
Well, you've honored him in many ways, I understand,
Well,
with the boot slam.
I gave the money to Guildhall in his honor. That's the connection.
Yeah.
And I'm still his blood brother. I'm the
Yeah.
baby of the family.
You are the baby.
Absolutely. Unexpected baby.
Really?
Yes.
Really. And how about you, Louise? Are you the baby in your family?
No, I'm not. Louis Coleman and I actually just got married.
You did? Well,
We're
congratulations.
newlyweds.
That's so exciting.
And both of our spouses passed away. Al Hirschfeld, my late husband, passed away 8 years ago, and his wife died about 2 years ago.
2009 she died.
And so we were introduced by a mutual friend, and I didn't know what would happen, but within a year.
I knew exactly what was going to happen. I didn't tell her that though.
Well, I have to say, looking at this beautiful woman, I understand that. It must have been love at first sight. Am I right?
That's the way. That's what we say for the record. I want to tell you what the real story is.
Yeah.